Dave, and you're listening to episode 97 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers, by scale modelers, all about scale models. And we've got a cracker of an episode for you this week. First of all, we've got the latest news on who has won all the categories in the Golden Sprue Awards. Warren will be joining us shortly to tell you that exclusive news. And there's some interesting results in there for sure. Of course, we've also got Ian back in the studio this episode, which is really great news. Been missing him for so long now, so I'll be keen to have him back in. We've also going to be having a chat about model building versus model collecting. This was a topic that was inspired by Shane Vale Rhodes, so thank you very much for that, Shane. But first of all, I've got to let you know this episode is being brought to you by Mark Cassiglia and Damien Rigby. These two fine gentlemen have decided to support the show and have done so by going to www.patreon.com/onthebench. And like Mark and Damien, you can choose any amount from $1 per month upwards. Contributions are greatly appreciated and help us with the running and production costs of the show. Speaking of the show, that's enough from me. Let's get on with it. The Scale Modeler Supply. Certified Australian made, Scale Model supplies a detailed range of premium acrylic paints that have been specifically developed to cater to the scale modeler. Designed to be used straight from the bottle, SMS paints have taken all the guesswork out of airbrushing. Simply shake the durable glass bottle and pour and spray for a fast-drying and extremely durable result. The ever-growing range of SMS paints will suit all types of model builders, be it military, train, car, science fiction or Gunpla. SMS premium acrylic lacquer paints will have a colour to suit you. The Scale Modeler is also your one-stop shop for all your weathering, brushes, masking, tools and accessory needs. SMS paint tools and accessories are available either directly from their website www.scalemodeler.com.au or through stockists across Australia, New Zealand, Singapore and the US. And as a special bonus exclusive to our On The Bench listeners, you will get 10% off by using the promo code OTB when ordering direct from www.scalemodeler.com.au. So go now. Go to scalemodeler.com.au. We know you won't be disappointed. And hello and welcome to the show. And we've got Ian in the studio.
Yay! Hi, Dave. Hi, Julian. Hello, listeners.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Well, you were here last time, so it doesn't count. It's not as exciting now.
No.
Got the gang back together.
The band's back together.
Yep.
So, what have you been doing, Ian? What's happening?
Working,
Yeah.
working and sleeping. And saving money and buying kits online.
And you bought a whole heap of kits in for us to have a look at.
Yes,
it's
I
almost
did.
like a show and tell.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, haven't seen you in person for a while.
I
now.
know. It's been a long time.
So I thought I'll bring something in.
Because all the restrictions have finally eased and we can all be back together.
Yes.
Oh, thank goodness.
Hopefully soon we won't have to wear these stupid masks too.
Yeah. Oh. Well, you know what? I was thinking about the stupid masks. And it's not too often that our government asks us to do something. I think the last time was, let me think now, World War One, World War Two, off to Vietnam, off to the Desert War. You know what? And the government's only asking us to wear a mask. You know what? It's not that big a deal.
It is when it's hitting 30 degrees and you're moving 200 kilo air conditioning units out in the middle of the sun. It is a big deal.
Wow. Let's talk about big deals. You've never had to wear a gas mask and do fire and movement drills in a gas mask and a charcoal NBC suit. Then you know you're living. Trust me.
I'll take your word for it.
Julian.
Hello. What have I been up to? Not a whole lot. Just sort of looking at my various kits and thinking I should probably finish one of them off. Went out to the garage to do some touch-up painting on that French plane. That thing's been lingering at like 98% complete.
So you're doing the French planes. Hang on, just let me do a lead in. Oh.
Okay. All right, you just settle down. So I went to do that, and I walked out there, and there's like a whole bunch of stuff that was sort of like has been piled up between there and where the switch for the light is. I was like, oh no, I'll have to go back inside now.
Scared yourself off.
I was looking for a convenient excuse, and I found one.
Wow.
I was also talking to is it Tanya, the car modeler that has written into the podcast?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was sort of asking about like
from New Zealand.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
I think it's the same person.
Yeah.
And in any case, I was asking like what's the go with all the chrome trim type stuff around windows and stuff? What's the best technique? And chrome pen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Molotov pen.
Yeah, the Molotov pen. I was like, well, I've got a problem with my one because it just comes out silver looking instead of chrome looking now.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I've mentioned this before.
No, mine's still perfect. Mine too.
Yeah, because I think said the same thing.
Did you give it a good shake?
Yeah, to the point where the tip came out.
I shook
I shook the bejesus out of that thing. I shook it like. Well, I could do some pretty dark jokes here.
You could, yes.
I shook it a whole lot, and the tip fell out, and then like what came out of the gaping hole in the end of the pen was chrome, but then when you put the tip back in, it just comes out silver again.
Yeah, might be a problem with the tip.
Maybe, but I think I have a sneaking feeling that they will all go silvery if you leave them long enough.
I don't say that. I've got two sitting in my build room that, I
use it or
hardly
lose
use.
it, Dave.
I always use it. And do you know how I use it when I do me pistons on me undercarriage legs? The oleos. But I don't use the pen. I actually dab the pen onto a bit of wax paper. So I get a nice bubble of chrome and just use a paintbrush. And just dab it on there and it automatically flows around.
Yeah.
And comes out perfect.
Yeah, because the problem is you can't get it up near where the edge of the oleo
and
is.
whereas you use a paintbrush and you just don't paint it on, just dab it on, and it just smooths itself out perfect. It just comes out just magic.
How do you clean your paintbrush afterwards?
Thinners.
Or just regular?
Yeah, regular multi-purpose thinners.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I was advised to use the pen for the trim around windows and things.
Yep.
Just do a bit of masking, use that crap, burnish it down and everything. And I've yet to give it a try because I want to get a new chrome pen.
Well, they don't cost that much.
No.
Well, you just get the refill and use it in your airbrush instead of actually on the pen.
No.
Nah.
I got a refill.
That defeats the convenience of buying a pen.
Well, that's a good point too. Because then you go clean your airbrush, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. What else is new, guys?
I've been looking to buy some ship kits.
Yeah. Didn't we get stuck into him yesterday about that? Especially me.
We had a long conversation.
Yes, and Julian was umming and ahhing about a particular kit, and I just kept going, do it.
Yeah, it's too big, too much.
Nah, 1/200 scale Mikasa not going to be too big. It's not 700 mil long.
So the Mikasa is a Japanese battleship.
Pre-war.
Actually,
Pre-World War One. 1908.
Russo-Japanese War.
Yeah.
1905.
Yeah. It's very old-timey. I like the look of it because it's got
old-timey? What kind of word's that?
Well, it doesn't have that, sort of, the
Let's just say it doesn't have Wi-Fi.
True.
So the bow, right?
Yes.
It's not the one that sort of leans forward into the water. It slopes back, or is completely vertical until you get below the waterline. Right, I love that look and the rounded rear end.
It's funny.
That's still back from the old ramming days, isn't it? When they had the design like that, wasn't it?
Well, it was, but some of those ships. So the pre-dreadnoughts, the true dreadnoughts that came out, there's some lovely designs in there.
Yeah.
And the way
that's their period of ships that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
But they always have like very extensive like masts and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Whereas me, I can't get it. I'd love to be able. If anyone knows anyone that does it in 1 to 350 scale, I'd jump on it like crazy. Would be Civil War monitors.
Yeah, I know.
I love Civil War monitors, but I can't find any 1 to 350 scale.
Yeah,
which annoys me because otherwise I'd have a whole swathe of them.
Okay.
Yeah, scratch build. You could have a scratch build, could you?
Well, suppose some of them there wouldn't be all that much into scratch build. And some of them they're pretty basic shapes, aren't they?
Yeah, so I was looking at this thing and I thought, nah, it's a bit too big and too much. You know, like, it's a huge ship. You know, because you look at it relative to a lot of like more recentish shit or anything from like World War II onwards, and they're fairly skinny. Like ships get pretty skinny and long, right? But this thing is sort of squat. You know, it's very wide relative to how long it is. So even though this model turns out to be like what's something like 70 centimeters long, it's hefty in the middle.
But that kit makes a statement.
You need some decent display space for that, though. That's the issue.
Yeah, it's huge. Like you know, it would stand just as tall as it is.
Well, especially
long,
if it's got its torpedo nets out, because then you got to add an inch.
Yeah.
Well, that was my original plan when I first saw the thing. I was like, oh, that would look good. Oh, with the torpedo nets out, oh, that would look really good. But I mean, that's too much. And the thing is, like, only the 200 scale incarnation of it has like the old 1905 look, which is what I like.
The Hasegawa one's 1905.
No,
Pontos makes
a 1905 version of it.
Makes the complete detail set for the 1905 version.
Oh, maybe I'll revisit it at some point. But
mind you, it's 190 Australian dollars for that set.
Yeah, I get it. It's a lot of brass.
But yeah, exactly. You get a lot for it. You get new brass masts.
Oh yeah,
barrels,
like there's
resin.
There's more brass in various poles and gun barrels and things in that set than there is actual photo etch.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's kind of like, it's so cool. Yeah. Like you look at photos, you know how they had like the sort of promotional photos for like, buy this aftermarket set, and the thing's just covered in like, you know, gold bling. You know? Oh, it's so cool. It's almost like you want to put all that on but never paint it.
I know. Yeah, that's what I like. Especially like from Edward, you see the photos from the Edward website and all the pictures of the various kits and just nothing but bare plastic and photo etch. And you think, yeah, that does look quite good.
Yeah, so I may revisit it in 1/350 at some point, but I'm not gonna go there just yet because there's some sort of. Also, the kit's not in stock anywhere nearby. So,
no, I know B&A doesn't have it because I checked it out last night for you.
Yeah,
and they didn't have it in stock.
Yeah, so it's not the only ship from that era that looks similar-ish. You know,
I reckon if you do decide, you'd probably spend about $350 all up. But then you'll have a kit that when it's finished, you probably resell it for about $1,000.
Yeah, because I mean, like they're very attractive look. Like, and like you know, like a lot of the World War II like battleships and things, they all look, you know, okay, it's a grey looking ship. It's a grey looking ship with some torpedo tubes and you know multiple cannons and multiple turrets, and it's like, no, these old timey ones have only got two turrets, one on the front, one on the back, and that's it.
That's all they needed.
They're almost like you know how like the caricature of a tank is often looks a bit like a Sherman.
Yes,
like the caricature of for a kid of a battleship looks similar to like these kind of like 1905, 1908 kind of era like ships, even though they're not battleships at all, you know. It's just, I really like the simplicity of it.
Yep.
Well, Ian and I both got a battle cruiser, HMAS Australia.
Yes.
The Indefatigable class.
Yep. From the First World War.
Which we're going to build up, hopefully very soon.
Well, you will. I won't. My project I'm working on is going to take me a long time.
Well, what's your next one?
Well, the one I'm working on at the moment, I started is turning the old 1978 moulding of the monogram 48 scale B-26 Marauder into something more modern.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you've started that.
I've pretty much nearly finished sanding every bit of detail off the kit. So I'm just going to have bare plastic, undercoat it, and then get a clutch pencil and start drawing on where my panel lines and where my rivets go. And
I thought it was better to like scribe those things prior to removing the detail.
Funny about that because I did that on one wing. I thought, hey, I'll jump the gun. I'll just use the old sand it back a little bit, gave it some undercoat, sanded back a bit so all the raised panel lines would stand right out.
Yep.
Scribed over the top of them. It looked great. And then I finally found a really good line drawing of the Marauder and then had a look at the wing and then had a look at what I scribed and went, that's totally different.
Oh, no.
So now I've got to get all stretch sprue and put stretch sprue in all my panel lines.
No, don't do that. Use sprue goo.
Sprue goo. But I thought you said that stuff never dries.
It takes a long time to dry. Well, you got plenty of other parts to
I'll do that.
then.
Yeah, because I started making sprue goo. So I'll do that. I'll fill it with sprue goo.
Especially if you make it out of the plastic that the kids made.
Well, that's what I did. I got a little container and all the extra bits of sprue I chopped up and put in this little container from the same kit.
Yeah, just make it very goopy. Don't make it too watery.
Yeah, goopy.
Because if you make it goopy, it might be a bit harder to get in there, but it'll dry sooner, and you'll have less like issues with it like lingering around.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Because one thing I've become quite aware of lately, after looking at some of Will Pattinson's videos on the Tamiya Extra Thin and how it really, it may appear dry, but all intents and purposes it is, but it, much like your issue with the Gambia Bay, was it?
Yeah, Hasegawa and the Revell contact.
You'd be surprised how much it can really deform plastic. And like he had an example where there's like a, where you've got like a wing that you've closed top and bottom, and there's like a small peg on the lower wing that supports the upper wing, so that before you put the flaps on, right? So near the trailing edge.
Yeah, you mean on the Edward Mustang?
Yeah, maybe.
Yep.
So
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and what happened is even after he'd primed it and weeks had passed, he could actually see that there was a slight. It almost looks like a sink mark there, where the Tamiya Extra Thin had affected the upper surface.
Right. Yep.
And like, if you really want to get like your seam lines, not show up again like weeks later. Yeah. It's almost like now I've almost started thinking maybe I should with my aircraft kits I should be gluing those up, putting them away in the box for a couple of weeks or a month. Just to be on the safe side.
It's the same as when you're puttying. Like, there's nothing worse than doing a really neat puttying job and painting everything, and then a month down the track you look at the same kit and the next thing you know the seam lines pop back again because the putty shrunk.
Yeah, I hate that.
That annoys me. So that's why I've learnt my lesson now. Once I've puttied it, I'll leave it for a good 2 weeks before I even look at it again.
No, I won't do that. I find sometimes seam lines will reoccur because the plastic hasn't mated correctly either side. So I'm really judicious now in making sure that I've got as much of it sort of stuck together as I can.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. What's I going to say? Oh, well, I've got another kit in the mail. It came from Tacom, which I purchased, which is the V2 rocket and the Hanomag launcher to go with it as well. Because now that I've done the V2 in the civilian sort of guise, I'm going to do the military version of the V2, a military version of the Mercury rocket, the Redstone rocket, and a military version of the Atlas.
But the one thing you have not done, and you will need to scratch build, because if you're seriously about doing the space race, you've got to do Goddards.
Yeah, I know.
You should be able to scratch build that up pretty easy. It's basically some round bars and some fuel cells.
If you're saying that, I really need to go back and sort of scratch build some of the early stuff of Warner von Braun as well. So
yeah.
Also in the mail, and I mentioned this on our Facebook page, but we need to put a huge shout out and thank you. In the mail, we got a special package that arrived from Will Patterson and also from Masterpiece Models. It was a Benchmate jig for aircraft in 72nd scale up to 48 scale. And I've got to say, it's a fantastic little jig. I actually went and proved that you can even use 1/44th scale aircraft on it, because I went and dug out my big...
but it was a big 144 scale aircraft.
Which is really cool. And he also chucked in a whole heap of...
scale rulers.
Scale rulers too. So I got a ruler that is 1/72nd scale, a ruler that is 1/32nd scale, one is 1/48th scale, and 1/35th scale, and a big ruler that is a whole heap of different scales. And I think my glasses, I've got my glasses, I still can't read it half of it. I'll give it to Julian, he knows. And they also chucked in some rice paper tape for us to play around and have a muck around with. So Masterpiece Models, go and check them out. Got a Hobby Tool series. And so thanks to Masterpiece Models and also Will Patterson.
Thanks, guys.
Really appreciated.
Awesome stuff.
And unexpected, I've got to say.
Yep.
I don't think this is a scale ruler necessarily, is it?
Oh, well, these
I think it's just a ruler with inches on it, and it's got actually all the numbers on each of the little markings. So it's got like, half inch, and then like 9/16, etc.
Yeah, but these other rulers, so there's one there for 148 scale, 132nd scale, 172nd scale.
Yeah, but this one here's just the regular
inch
ruler.
See, 172nd scale would be perfect for you, Dave.
Why?
Because that's your space race scale.
Yes, my space race scale, absolutely. So
I wouldn't have any use for a 172nd scale ruler. I saw building that scale.
I saw an interesting sort of little video the other day, and I was I forget who the guy was, but he was talking about how the United States actually signed on to use metric many, many years ago, and that all of their imperial units are sized off of metric.
What?
Like the way that they judge how much, a gallon or whatever it is, they're all sized out based on metric measurements. So technically the US uses metric.
No way. How can you have a 1/4 inch in the metric?
Well, what they use it.
I think what Julian means is, and the way I'll explain to you, Dave, is my previous job we used to sell water tanks.
Yep.
And we had a brand that came in, North Star from America. And one of the size water tanks I always thought was really weird was, I think it was 383 gallons, which worked out to be, I don't know, it was an even number in literage. So that's
the way that they standardize.
Oh, I see.
Like their
Julian's
imperial measurements.
Yeah.
Is by basing them off of a finite amount of metric.
Well, there's only 2 countries in the world that still use the imperial measurement system.
America, and what's the other one?
Oh, some other little country somewhere.
America's not a little country though.
No, but the other country uses it as some little country in the middle of nowhere.
All right.
And the US.
Like Moldova or something like that.
Something like that.
Liechtenstein.
Some small city-state or something.
But they got mil specs. But mil specs is a basic is metric, I believe. I think their military is in metric.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
So what's 50 cal?
Well, it's
12.7.
Yeah. So all the 12.7
is a 50 cal. So imperial is 50.5.
But
metric is
Ian and I will remember this. So when we were in school, we first started out and they taught us imperial. Then
actually,
we had to...
you're a couple of years older than me, Dave. So no.
So when I started off in primary school, it started off at with imperial, and they changed us to metric. And it's easy. It's divisible by 10, so works out.
Does.
The thing is, like, my impression is like they're sort of like half and half over there in the States. Like you see some people using 12 thou blah blah blah, and then you watch like some military show and they'll say, oh yeah, the base is like 12
That's what I'm saying.
Down the road.
The military sort of
clicks is kilometers, right?
Yeah. The US military is kind of into metric, and the greater US isn't. And it does, because you say to me 12 thou. I've got no idea what 12 thou is.
12,000th of an inch.
Well, yeah, I know, but I can't visualize that anymore. Whereas if you say to me, half a mil.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't be able to visualize it because 12 thou is supposed to be a very thin amount.
Exactly.
I mean, the equivalent would be something in microns, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
I mean, if you can tell how thick that's supposed to be, you probably should have been a machinist or something.
Oh, that's a good point. All right. Hey, how about we get on with the show?
No. Sounds like a great idea.
Well,
no, he says.
I tell you what. As a special, we have got. Yes.
Sorry. So yeah, I mean, with these various ship kits I've been looking at, there's this old-timey German.
Old-timey. You love saying that, don't you? Old-timey.
I do. I do. And anyway, so I've been looking at this German, what's it, something something or other Holstein battleship.
Yeah.
From 1908.
Yeah.
I know, so it's like Fiddler Holstein or something like that. I don't know what it is. I can't remember the name. All I remember is like
Friedrich Holstein.
I just pulled like one word out of the title and I'll use that as my search term. That's why I remember the word Holstein. Also refers to cows. You know? So anyway, that's probably the one I'll get. But I was considering, what was it? The Kiev class.
Yep.
Oh, the
aircraft carrier.
Yeah, that's just a monster of a ship, that one.
Yeah, but in 1350, but there's no such kit in 1350. There's only 1700.
Oh.
Yeah.
And there's 2 kits made by Hobby Boss / Trumpeter. One came out in 2013, and that's the detailed one, of which you can get lots of aftermarket for, but it's waterline. But they also brought out under, I think it's the regular Trumpeter brand, 1 in 700 scale, that is not any particular one, because the one from 2013 is the Baku, like a specific ship, whereas the previous one was just a Kiev class, and it's not waterline. It's got the full hull, but obviously it's more simplified, and there's no aftermarket for it whatsoever. So I was thinking of buying both those kits because they're fairly cheap, and they'll just my brain thinks, I'll just put them together,
Doesn't kind of work that way.
Maybe it will work that way. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to just cut it along the waterline and just glue that part on,
Hey, if you want to have a look at some fantastic pre-World War II warships, have a look at some of the models of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
I still remember that Austro-Hungarian torpedo boat.
Yeah.
That thing was unreal.
Yeah.
I think I have since learned that it was a full resin kit. That was huge.
Yeah,
it was
like
1/72
scale, I think it was.
Yeah, it was like a meter long.
Yeah, it was huge.
And it had figures all over it and a dog. And they did a fantastic job of it. And it was all behind glass and really, really good job at that.
Totally agree.
I've got a question. I'm just grabbing this podcast by the scruff of the neck and taking it where I want it to.
Really? I would never have noticed.
So that Austro-Hungarian torpedo boat was up on the brass, pedestal type things. You guys generally don't use the brass pedestal look.
I have got a couple, but I don't use them.
Yeah, I don't like them anymore.
It's not that I don't like them. Here's the thing. I like to be able to sort of... Yeah, I don't know why I don't like them. I've got to think about this.
I just prefer the look of it just sitting on a heap of blocks of timber.
Yeah, but do you think that's a good look for... Because I don't mind that look on ships, but I think it's a bit weird on submarines.
Oh, the pedestals?
No, the blocks.
No, blocks work fine. I don't reckon they look silly on mine.
Because I kind of... Because
me, I do it with all
being underwater, I think it sort of needs to be sort of elevated.
Not really. Most submarine kills were done above water anyway.
I've got an opinion on the submarine side of things. I don't know. I'm easy.
But you build more subs than you do ships, don't you?
Oh yeah, I've got lots of subs. But generally I just put them on the stand that's supplied with the model kit. Really? I've got some big ones. Yeah, I've got like I've got all the boomers from the French Navy, the US Navy, the British Navy, the Russian Navy, and they're big subs in 1350. And trying to put them all on their own sort of individual sort of wooden stands and everything. There's a cost-benefit analysis here that has to take place. And so I just put them on their plastic stand they came with.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, that would get really expensive, wouldn't it?
Oh, the only time I used pedestals was when I built the Revell 1/72 scale Schnell boat.
Yeah, I think
that was because it was a big scale.
Yeah.
And that looked all right. But when I'm doing 1 to 350... just the blocks.
Here's the thing about putting on the pedestals, and I think there's another name for it, finials, I think they're called, or something like that. And I've got a concern that once, because you've got to do it early on in the build, you've got to have the hull all finished, and then you've got to mount the finials on, because then you've got to close up the hull. Once you've done that, you're committed to being able to manoeuvre the model around to do more work on it. And that's what my concerns are.
What I done when I did the Schnell boat is I drilled up through the bottom of the base, through the pillars, because I made sure the pillars were hollow, And then on the inside of the hull is I put basically just nuts.
Yep.
So when I test fitted it all, screwed it all together, so the hull with nothing else, just a bare hull, no deck or anything, was sitting there on the stands, on the base. Then I got some araldite, or what do they call it, epoxy glue.
Yep.
And just put that around the outside of the nut, let that gas off for 5 minutes till it was dry, unscrewed it all, and then I could put the deck on.
Cool.
And those nuts would never move.
Yeah.
And basically I could handle the model, and when it came time to finish, screw it to the base.
Oh, that's why I'm doing it. Yeah. I'll have to think about that. What about you, Julian?
Well, I've only done one ship.
I know you've only done one ship, but
and Julian went the whole total different way. He used an aluminium base for his ship.
Yeah, he did too. Yeah.
I had aluminium tube as the supporters.
Yeah.
So it was almost like the pedestal thing, but they're just pipe essentially.
Yeah, it's achieving the same thing.
But when you look at it, it's much more minimalistic because it's not these great big golden pillars.
Yeah.
With all the fancy sort of lathe work.
See, but I think that the brass finials and all that sort of thing, it harks back to ship modelling when it was sort of like the museum quality stuff, you know. So, and that's the way I love to present my ships. You know, crystal clean, no sort of weathering or anything like that. Also, museum quality.
The finial thing with the brass finial looks better on the old-timey ships.
Old-timey, there he goes with that word again.
I was relishing the use of that time. But I'm serious, it looks better, I can imagine it looks much better on wooden ships. On
wooden ships, yeah, it does look
also like the old 1905 era sort of ships.
It looks good it can look good on modern ships. I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, picture you step into the wardroom of the USS Eisenhower, and you step into the wardroom and there is a great big model of the actual aircraft carrier.
Okay.
Of the Ike.
Okay.
On these beautiful, lovely brass finials.
And then you come down to Australia and you go to the HMAS Rankin. There's a little model of the Rankin sitting on wooden blocks.
Yes, the one that you built for that tour. That was lovely.
You can't use your own example.
Yes, I can. I did it.
Oh, God.
There's this really professionally built model that's sitting at some place. So let's see that. And it's got like Ian Kaiser written on the... You're not tooting your own horn there much, are you?
Someone has to.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to go on with the show.
Sure.
We have got some exciting news. We have an interview with Stuart from the Golden Sprue Awards.
Cool.
And as a world first, we are announcing the winners of that. So we might play that interview so that everybody can finally be relieved of and know who actually won all the different categories. How's that sound?
Sounds like a great idea.
Okay, let's roll on that one. And on the line from the Emerald Isle, I guess it's called the Emerald Isle still, isn't it? Yes,
it is. Yes,
it is. We've got Warren from the Golden Sprue Awards. G'day, Warren. How are you, mate?
I'm great, Dave. How are you?
Yeah, really good. So you've got some results for us.
Yeah. So as you know, the Golden Sprue Awards has been running from August when we started with the nominations. Those were all sorted, and then during the month of October, it's really captured the imagination of scale modelers all over the world. Just over 40,000 votes in the final phase of the awards.
40,000 votes were cast.
40,000 votes cast across the 9 categories.
Wow,
yep.
that's tremendous.
Yeah, so really pleased with the uptake and all through the event, the positive comments that I received and people contacting me and for all of those people who uploaded their own build projects onto the website. I think it was just a great feel around the whole event.
Absolutely. So are you going to keep us in suspense, or do you have a couple of things you want to talk about before we launch into who won?
Yeah, so just before I begin, just before we get to the business end, firstly, I'd just like to do a few mentions. Number one to yourself, Dave and the other guys at the On the Bench podcast and all the sister podcasts, Plastic Posse podcast, Plastic Model Mojo, and the Scale Model podcast. Really grateful for all the help and support you guys gave me. You guys are obviously well established and outputting some great content, but your support over the duration of this event has been greatly appreciated, so thank you. Also, many of the forum and other community sites that are out there, bit of a special thank you as well to Jim at the Kitmaker Network. Really appreciate the help that he gave me. And also to the Reddit community, the Model Makers Reddit community, another massive community out there. Those guys were very helpful as well in allowing me to spread the word. So without that whole community effort, it would have been an awful lot more difficult to get the word out there that this event was happening. So, we all work together as a community, and we all do our different things.
Yeah, and that's the key word, isn't it? Community. It's a community-focused event, and the community were involved. And these days, with the internet and everything, it's a small world, and we're all in one great big modelling village, aren't we?
That's it. And the whole ethos of this event, it was to be a celebration of our hobby. When you look at the nominations in each category and what was put forward to the final vote, I mean, some fantastic products there and some fantastic companies producing the things we love. And of course, as well, a huge thank you to all of those companies for supporting the event, helping promote it, and really getting behind it and encouraging their own fans and followers to have a look at the event. So,
and I guess that's what really sort of warmed my heart. The majors and also the minors really got behind this and saw it as a fantastic way of showcasing the hobby, and the way they backed you and supported you in this. I reckon it's just fantastic.
Yeah, and what really pleased me is there was some of those companies who maybe don't get that opportunity to get as much exposure, and hopefully through this there's people there listening to your podcast who through the event have maybe discovered a new company or a new brand or a new product that they weren't aware of, and they might try that in the future. So
that's fantastic.
So there we go. So yes, a huge thank you to everybody, and look forward to next year.
We're definitely back next year, are we?
Absolutely, certainly. I mean, once this is the wrap up of this year's event, and I've been running this, obviously pulling this together since March of this year, but certainly the intention will be take a little bit of a breather here, maybe get back to the bench and make a model or two myself, and then and then maybe have a look and start working with people to understand and pull together next year's event and see what we can do differently and to make it bigger and better.
Any sort of changes that you got flagged?
Might have a look at the categories. Maybe might bring in a couple of other additional categories. Really, I'll sit down and certainly it'll be something I'll look to work with other people and get ideas. And again, that'll be from people within the community, suppliers, and all across the hobby.
Sure.
So nothing definite yet.
All right. Well, whatever it's going to be, it'll be exciting. That's for sure, Warren.
Yep.
So we're in suspense. Come on, tell us who won the categories. Come on.
Okay, so let's. What I intend to do is, as I say, great products in all of the categories, and I think when you look at the nominations, some fantastic products there in all of the categories. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run down the categories, and in each I will notify who the top three were, and then I will announce the actual winner within the category. So we will start with the best new sci-fi kit.
Mm-hmm.
So in this, the top three in the voting for this year's award, we had Polar Lights, with the Star Trek Discovery USS Enterprise.
Nice kit, yes.
And Hasegawa with the anti-gravity armored raider Bombercat.
Mm-hmm.
And Bandai with the X-Wing fighter vehicle.
Right.
So those are the top 3 within Best New Sci-Fi. So the third place is Bandai with the X-Wing fighter vehicle.
Right.
And the winner is Hasegawa with the anti-gravity armored raider.
Wow.
Bombercat.
Geez, that takes me by surprise. I would have thought that Bandai Apollo Lights would have taken first place. That's interesting.
Yep. So Hasegawa pulled very strongly.
Well done to Hasegawa.
So congratulations to Hasegawa. And we hope to see the guys back in next year's awards with some good kits.
Well, they're going to bring new kits out to make the grade, don't they?
They do. They do. So this one, I think you'll be very interested in. Best New Ship Kit.
Yes, this is my favourite category.
Okay, this was a very competitive category, as they all were. So again, the top 3. Trumpeter with the Bismarck.
Mm-hmm.
Flyhawk with the 1/700 scale HMS Illustrious.
Oh.
And Trumpeter with the 1/200 scale RMS Titanic.
I thought that would have been up there, yeah.
Lighting set. Lighting set. So in third place, Trumpeter with the Bismarck.
Mm-hmm.
And in first place for the Best New Ship Kit 2020, Trumpeter with the RMS Titanic.
Well done. Fantastic. And that's a great selling kit. It's really been flying off the shelves, is my understanding.
It is. And coming from Belfast, where we built the thing.
Oh, but of course, yes.
Yeah. So without us, it wouldn't even be a model kit. So
Very true. Very true.
Okay, now on to Best New Figure Kit. So the top 3 within this category, AK Interactive with the 10th scale Desert Fox British Army, RP Models, the 120mm Roman Catafratari, and Rado Miniatures with the 135th SS MG42 team. So the third place is AK Interactive with the Desert Fox British 8th Army kit. And in first place, winning Best New Figure Kit 2020, is Rado Miniatures with the 135th SS MG42 team.
And that is a fantastic figure kit, that one. I've had a look online, and it is absolutely gorgeous.
It is, though. Those guys produce beautiful figure kits, so congratulations to those guys.
Terrific.
So, Best New Civilian Vehicle Kit. This was an interesting category with some very interesting kit subjects. So, again, the top 3, we have Tamiya with the Ford Mustang GT4.
Mm-hmm.
Mini Art with the 135th scale German agricultural tractor.
Yep.
And ICM with the 124th scale Benz patent motor wagon. In third place is ICM with the Benz patent motor wagon. And in first place, Mini Art with the 135th scale German agricultural tractor.
Wow, that's a huge surprise. And well done to them.
Yeah, so congratulations to Mini Art. As I say, some really interesting kit subjects within that category. So, yeah, great to see.
Absolutely.
So, Best New AV Kits. Best New Armored Vehicle Kit. The top 3 polling, Copper State Models with the 135th scale Minerva armored car.
Great innovative new company.
Yep, doing some beautiful kits. Mini art with the 135th scale T34 spring 1944.
Now, is that the full interior kit that they putting out?
Yes, that's the Plant 112 spring 1944.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryefield model with the 135th Challenger 2 TES.
Oh, geez, I couldn't pick which one's going to be the winner here. They're all that's a very tight race.
It is. And all of these categories were there was, when it came to the end, there was, many of them were very, very close. So in third place, we have Ryefield model with the Challenger 2 TES.
Mm-hmm.
And the winner is Mini Art.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's the T34. So congratulations to Mini Art for 2 awards.
Geez, they've been doing well. And I've built a Mini Art. I've built their Dingo armoured car. And,
yes.
Yeah, great little kit that went together extremely well. Perhaps say it's a little bit overcomplicated than it needed to be, but you know what? It makes a great kit. And if that's my experience with them is any sort of yardstick as to what they're producing, what the kits are like, I'd be quite happy to purchase another one. So well done to them.
Great. Okay, best new aircraft kit.
This is one of the big categories.
It is. So certainly this was one of the categories to receive the most votes. And the top 3, we have Meng with the 132nd Fokker triplane. We have Arma Hobby with the 172nd FM2 Wildcat Expert set. And Tamiya with the 148 Lockheed P38 Lightning.
Oh, geez. What I want to guess with this, I reckon it's going to be a toss-up between Meng and with the Fokker and the P38.
Okay. So in third place, we have Meng with the 132nd Fokker triplane.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll come back next week to announce the winner.
No! Don't do that to me, Warren. Come on.
Okay, in first place, winning the Golden Sprue Award for the Best New Aircraft Kit 2020 is Arma Hobby with the 172nd FM2 Wildcat.
Wow, that's taken me by surprise. How about that?
Congratulations to Arma Hobby, because with Tamiya there with the very popular P38, they both polled very highly, but congratulations to Arma Hobby, who polled the most votes.
Well done.
Great to see. So that is the kit categories complete. We will now move on to the best aftermarket product.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this was one of the categories where we saw a lot of companies doing some fantastic products, decals, masks, and accessories. So the top 3, Edyard for their photo etch products.
Yep.
Proper Plane for their hand-carved wooden propellers.
Which are absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. You could just buy them and just put them in your display cabinet. They look gorgeous by themselves.
They're absolutely exquisite. And Yahoo for their cockpit detailing accessories.
I've never heard of them, so there you go. I've just learned something.
Yep, fantastic, pre-painted, highly detailed cockpit accessories. So in third place, we have Proper Plane for their hand-carved wooden propellers.
Well done.
And in first place, winning the award for Best Aftermarket Product, is Edyard for their photo etch products.
Oh, fantastic. Great company, very innovative. Yep. And I've purchased many of their aftermarket products, and I reckon they're just top notch. Well deserved.
Yep, absolutely. So we now move on to the best weathering product.
Interesting.
Yes, these are the products we all love to finish our models. So the top three, we have the oil brushers, Ammo by Mig Jimenez.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have the weathering effects range from Acrylicos Vallejo.
Yep.
And the weathering pencils from AK Interactive. So those are the top three. In third place, the weathering pencils from AK Interactive,
which I absolutely love and adore.
Mm-hmm. And in first place, the oil brushers from Ammo by Mig Jimenez.
Fantastic. I just got myself a whole set of them just recently, and I haven't used them yet. So, geez, if that many people are voting and saying they're fantastic, I'm going to have to give them a good crack next time.
They are. They're very convenient, and they're a great product. All of the products are all great products, but certainly this year the oil brushers have come to the top.
And see, that's the thing with aftermarket. You use the word there, convenient, and I guess that's what as modelers we're looking for nowadays.
That's it. So now we move on to probably one of the more fiercely contested categories.
Mm-hmm.
Best paint.
Wow, this is going to be interesting because painting is so subjective, and people are really passionate about the types of paints they use. So I'm very excited to hear what who made the top three and actually ultimately who won. So I won't hold you up. Keep going.
Yep. Everybody has a view on paint. Everybody uses paint. So the top three, we have Vallejo, model color. We have the Ammo shaders from Ammo by Mig Jimenez. And we have the acrylic lacquer range of paints from the Scale Modelers Supply. Your own countrymen.
Absolutely. Homegrown here in Ballarat, Australia.
Yeah. So
I'm going to be biased. I'm very biased, so I'm sitting on the edge of my seat now.
Okay, so in third place is the Scale Modelers Supply.
Oh, well done to them. Well done. He's going to be so ecstatic over that. He really is.
Absolutely. Pulled very strongly against some of the more internationally known brands. So, it's really fantastic. And I know the guys there at the Scale Modeler Supply really got behind the event. They produced the limited edition Golden Sprue gold color.
Which is a fantastic initiative, wasn't it? I really chuckled when I saw that.
Yeah, something and again, it was that the intention of it was just the fun factor around the whole event. So yeah, really good to see them polling well. In first place is Acrylicos Vallejo with model color.
Wow, there you go. Well done.
Yeah, really popular paint range, obviously well known with all modelers around the world.
Absolutely.
So that is the 9 category winners, and there is one more award to announce, and this award is given to the kit that received the most votes overall in the awards this year, to become the best new kit overall 2020. And this year, for the first Golden Sprue Awards, we can give the best new kit overall to Arma Hobby for the FM2 Wildcat.
Wow, there you go. Fantastic. What a fantastic result.
Yeah, so that concludes the results for this year's Golden Sprue Awards. Congratulations to all of the companies. Firstly, who were nominated. I know many of the companies were, once they had been told they had been nominated, that in itself was a an accolade that they were very happy to receive the nominations. And I know over the course of this week, having contacted the winners, they are over the moon and absolutely delighted to have their products recognised by the community.
Yeah, terrific. And as you said, 40,000 votes. So it was a lot of people sort of around the world sort of chiming in and taking the time out to go and visit the website and voting for what they thought was the best of the crop of 2020.
Yep, and as I say, thank you to everybody that took the time to either nominate or vote in the awards. Without the community support, the whole event wouldn't have been possible. So thank you.
Well, you know what?
And
I'm just cutting you off there because you've forgotten somebody very important, and that's you yourself, Warren, for actually coming up with this whole idea and concept and just taking it on board and doing it as a project. And I just can't, give you enough accolades because it's such a fantastic initiative, and especially in this dark year that we've had and still having in lots of places. It was just a fantastic initiative. It really was.
Yeah, and through this event, I've got to know a lot of people, and I've made a lot of new friends in the hobby. So I'm grateful for that, and I hope to be able to continue those friendships going forward, and work with people such as yourself, David, and the rest of the guys in the other podcasts, and right across the community to see how we can build next year's event to be bigger and better.
Absolutely. And more than happy to help support you again next year. So if people, those results are up on the website now?
Yep, those results now are published at goldensprueawards.com. So yes, you can visit the website and have a run through and have a look at all the winners.
And what are your plans for the website? Are you going to leave it up between now and next year, or are you going to just park it for 6 months, or are you going to use it for anything else? Any sort of thoughts there?
Well, yeah, absolutely the website will remain there, as the holding page, so that people between now and when I revisit it for next year's awards can see who won the awards in 2020, and then we'll look to refresh it and restart early in the new year for next year's awards.
Fantastic. Did you find it really harder than you anticipated? Was it a lot more work than you anticipated? Any sort of surprises that popped up while you actually went through this process?
I think that the biggest challenge I had was getting the initial engagement from the companies to say, okay, this is an initiative and a concept that I have. What do you think? Immediately, many of the companies saw it as a great opportunity. Probably one of my biggest challenges, before this, I had never designed a website, never used Photoshop or anything like this. So a bit of a steep learning curve and having to build a website and understand all the intricacies of that. And then it's just been the time pulling together and grabbing all the artwork from all the different companies to try and ensure that their products were being displayed in the best way possible on the website. So yeah, a lot of work, probably hundreds of hours over the course of the months, but it was certainly a pleasure to do.
Oh, terrific! And once again, Warren, congratulations to you for doing this. It's for the community. It was a fantastic initiative, and we can't wait for next year.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to go here now, take a breather, find a kit, and just sit down and build it.
And as soon as the pub's open, go down and have a nice beer at the pub.
I think I might. They're still closed at the moment. You're fortunate you're going into summer. We here are just about to hit winter.
Yeah, we're lucky. We've when we were talking just before we sort of started recording this, I was saying that this is our 14th day of what we call double donuts. That is no cases and no deaths in the state of Victoria, and it's come at a huge cost because we've been in lockdown, I think, the longest of any other sort of country around the world, in Victoria certainly. But we're coming out of it now, and everything's opening up. And indeed, Ian's on the show this week, so it just goes to show you I've got the band back together. So very excited about that.
Good. Yeah, well, unfortunately, the numbers for us are still going in the wrong direction, so we still have a lot to do here.
Well, rest assured there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Warren, thanks again so much. Glad to have you on the show. Glad to be a supporter of your fantastic initiative, the Golden Sprue Awards 2020, and we look forward to having you back next year.
Great, Dave. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was some really interesting results coming out of the Golden Sprue Awards. So some real upsets there, as well as some interesting ones.
Yes,
so,
totally agree.
Very cool. All right, how about we have a look at what's new in the modelling world? How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan, Dave.
Cool bananas. And we're going to start off with HK Models have released the nose kit for their for the Avro Lancaster. What are your thoughts on this one, gents?
Well, it may be the only one you'll get.
Yeah.
Well, that's true in the scale. And what scale was it again? It was
1/32.
1/32 scale, yeah.
So it's basically just the front nose section with the cockpit.
When I think about this, I remember where everyone was sort of saying, "Oh, who's going to buy the HK molds one now that the when the wings one's around the corner?"
Yeah.
And now here we are.
Now you don't have a choice. You've got to buy the HK or get nothing at all.
Well, that's right. And it comes with decals for the Australian, Canadian, and RAF versions.
Oh, cartograph decals.
Yeah. Also, you get some photo etch, and you get the choice of having one side of it in clear plastic. So you can actually sort of, sort of like a cutaway sort of version.
Yeah. Show off all the details inside.
And what's really cool is that it comes with a stand that you can put it on, much like the same stand they used in the factory when they were building it as well.
All right, like a dolly.
Yeah. $99, roughly, give or take, Aussie, is not a bad price for what you get, I think. And for those of you who perhaps thought that a Lancaster in that scale is going to be too big, the nose section, I think, will be absolutely brilliant. And, the detail is quite good. And there's already lots of aftermarket stuff available for it and everything as well.
Yep.
So,
well, if you're someone who would consider buying the full-size kit, you would probably buy this as well anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah. As a compliment.
Yeah, good point. But nice little sort of project, I think.
Yeah, totally agree.
Would you mount it on finials?
I wouldn't mount it on finials. No, I'd put it on the dolly.
Oh, yeah, put it on the dolly.
The dolly's kind of boring.
Yeah, the dolly looks pretty good, actually.
After having built like many a seaplane now, of which is like one or two. I don't know. I don't like dollies much. They tend to sort of. They're not designed to display things in an attractive way. They're meant to be functional, right? Because you do it for the real thing.
But I think that looks quite good on the dolly.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. I'm not a fan.
No, I am. I think it looks really super sexy.
Yep.
So that's really cool.
Maybe if it was on a diorama, I'd be okay with it.
Gecko Models have announced a new 1/35th scale Vietnam War era Lark, which I'm particularly excited about because the Australian Army still uses these, I think.
Oh, do we?
Yes, we still use these. So I'm really keen to get one of these. And
it's like a miniature version of a duck.
Well, it's
not miniature. Those things are pretty big.
It's the modern version of the duck that was used in sort of World War II. It's sort of redone and brought in during Vietnam. And Australia used them from Vietnam onwards. We used them down in Antarctica as well.
All right, yeah, that'd be handy
for our missions down there. I just can't wait to get my hands on one of these. I reckon it's going to be a great little
huge. Like you'd come up as high as the top of the wheel, you realise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, they're quite big then.
Yep,
a lot bigger than they look, yeah.
Now, have you guys got any new news before I launch into the Falcon? Because I believe the Falcon's written in.
I've got one little bit of news. I've been trying to suss a really good panel scriber because I'm not happy with what's on the market. And Despair now have a special tool that you can attach different scribers, different size scribers. I've got a 0.4 at the moment, but I've got a 0.3, 0.2 and a 0.1 on order. So you can go as skinny as you want, and you can interchange the heads. You can put chisel heads on it, and yeah, it's a neat little tool.
And how much did that cost, Sam? When did you get that?
I think the tool itself, the actual handle itself being Despaye, was over $20, and the tool itself was also over $20. So you're looking at about $40 to $50 for a scriber. But the funny thing is the lid for the pen, because it's like a pen style, triangular pen style, but the lid's got these little magnets on it.
Oh.
So you can't lose the lid.
Oh.
You know what? I have lost the email from the Falcon.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I don't know what... Oh, God, I'm in so much trouble from the Falcon now.
Oh, no. You'll have to send another one through.
He's going to have to, I think. But it's a bit late to sort of be getting him for recording now. So, oh, geez.
What, did you delete it?
I must have deleted it accidentally. How did I do that?
Because you're a muppet.
Wait, isn't there like a recycling bin?
Yeah, here we go. Dave's going to try and find this.
No, I can't find... oh, geez, dude. What have I done?
You stuffed up.
I have. Oh, hang on. Here we go. I think... Let's have a look in here.
He's having a look.
Here we go.
He's found it.
Oh, recovery. Here we go. Sal Falcon writes in, and he says, as usual, it's going to start with aircraft. And first of all, Dora Wings have released a new boxing of their 1/48 scale P-43, the Republic P-43A1 Lancer, in China skies, in which there are 4 marking options, all of the Republic of the China Air Force. The Dora Volti Vengeance that was mentioned last episode is now confirmed as being in 1/48 scale.
Yay.
So that's exciting news for some people as well. And Dora have also showed some CAD renders of the P-66 Volti Vanguard fighter, which is also in 1/48 scale.
Very interesting. A Vanguard.
Bronco Models' surprise release of a 1/48 scale MiG-15, talked about on the last episode, is definitely a new tool from Bronco and not a re-release of the Trumpeter or any other kit. So I can expect to see a MiG-15 BIS kit from Bronco in the near future.
Huh.
Micromere will release a 1/350 scale Kanawashi KX-03 flying boat. It was only ever a study, so it never existed. But had it been built, it would have been enormous. And the 1/350 scale model span is just shy of that of a Lancaster in 1/72 scale.
Whoa!
That gives you an idea of how big this particular aircraft
It's like
was.
Japan's version of the Spruce Goose.
Yes, exactly right. Clear plop. Look, clear plop.
You got me doing it now. Clear prop.
Clear Prop will release a new boxing of their 72nd scale
Lavochkin
LA-5 Soviet fighter.
You realise that you messed up Kawanishi on the previous one as well. I wasn't going to... You'd gotten far enough that I wasn't going to bring it up, but then you stuffed up another one. I can't let you off now.
The new kit will be an LA-5 late version. Clear Prop are adding to their line of 1/72 scale Mitsubishi A5M Claudes. That's a beautiful little aircraft, actually.
Yeah.
They've recently shown CAD renders and the box art for A5 M4 version, which should be available early in 2021. Zvezda's new tool, the 1/48 scale Sukhoi Su-57 Felon, will be out later this month. People are already working on aftermarket for the kit. Seal Models will also have a resin K-36D ejection seat and 2 types of missile. ASK will also offer... I've never heard of them before. ASK.
ASK, yeah, they've been around for a while.
Okay. Will also offer an ejection seat with decals and masking set for the digital camouflage. Apparently, Special Hobby have surprised everyone with news of a completely new tool, 72nd scale Messerschmitt BF-109 Emily. The kit, developed with the assistance of Edward, will feature separate rudder, flaps and leading edge slats, removable cowl, detailed engine and fuselage machine guns, as well as a very detailed cockpit. Surface detail will consist of recessed panel lines and rivets. The first of the 109 kits, the E4, will be released in November this year, and we can expect the E3 in early 2021 with the E1, the 5 and the 6 export versions and the ME109T to also follow. They're packing a lot of detail in the 1/72nd scale kit there.
Definitely.
So that'd be interesting.
Well, hopefully it's Eduard who's responsible for the panel lines and not Special Hobby.
Yeah.
By the way, what's a 109T look like?
It's got an extended wingspan and it's got should have an arrestor hook. It's the navalised version.
Oh.
Special Hobby, speaking of them, will re-release their 148 scale Heinkel HE115B in November. It will be a limited release, so if you want one, do not delay. Also, still on Special Hobby, their 1/72nd scale Marischetti SF260M will be released this month. The kit will include 5 decal options covering Italian, Belgian, and Irish examples. I never knew the Irish flew them. That's interesting. Anyway, Revell have announced they will release a new tool, F-15E Eagle, in 1/72nd scale. Got to say that nobody seems excited, says the Falcon. Mark II for many modelers. Just to me mention this company's name is liable to cause uncontrollable shaking, nervous,
exactly what you just did.
nervous twitching of the eye, and in some sad cases, incontinence. Well, just hold on to your seat because they have announced a 1/72nd scale Douglas DC8/50. The kit will appear in multiple guises, with the first slated for release in December 2020. There will be separate boxings for the Arm Dealer Air, the Aero Mexico, UTA, Iberia, Swissair, KLM, Scandinavian, Pan Am, and an EC24A. May God have mercy on their souls.
Yes.
Not sure if this should have been classified as an aircraft or science fiction, but Wave Corporation have announced a 1/72nd scale VF171 Macross for release in 2021. Very interesting. It cleans up the aircraft and...
Yeah, that's sci-fi.
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. This goes to show you how much the Falcon knows.
He knows a lot more than we do.
Oh, see, so I reckon his science fiction is skating on thin ice. Okay, from Armour. Looking at the Armour releases, Copper State Models have shown CAD renders of another World War I armoured car they are working on. The latest one is a Canadian armoured car, also known as the Armoured Auto Car. As usual, it'll be in 1/35th scale. Copper State Models are one of those really exciting new companies. Yeah. Mini Art have another version of their 1/35th scale Austin armoured car, 3rd series in the works, which is going to be one showing it in Czechoslovakian, Russian and Soviet service, with marking options for 7 vehicles. Rifle model will release an interior version of their 1/35th scale Panzer III OSFJ. Pit Road have announced a 1/32nd scale Japanese self-defense
35th
force.
scale.
What did I say?
32nd.
Oh, beg your pardon. 1/35th scale of the Japanese ground self-defense force, Type 89 infantry combat vehicle. This one's a bit of a puzzle, as the kit has been available from Pit Road for several years, so possibly it might be coming with some new parts. Border Models are downscaling their 1/35th scale German main battle tank, the Leopard 2A5/A6, down to 1/72nd scale.
That's
which
interesting.
Should appeal to some people. And finally, Tamiya have announced a 1/48 scale T-34-85 Russian medium tank.
Oh, haven't Tamiya done a T-34 in 148 yet?
No. It seems like one of the sort of the main...
Yeah, it's. I'm surprised they haven't brought that out yet.
They've done an M10.
Yeah, in 148.
They've done a lot of other obscure...
Yeah, but
like
T-34s...
too mainstream, you know.
It's probably one of the most mass-produced tanks of the Second World War.
Well, I'm actually building the Rifle Models T-35 for a group build at the moment. And it's a great little kit. Just really fits together. Couple little small fit issues, but no, it's good fun so far.
That's kind of what I've heard about what they're like. You know, like they've sort of got like the sort of teething, sort of slight fit issues that you might expect with a new company. That I'm sure they'll sort things out.
I got to say, though, as you know, I recently finished the new Tamiya boxing of the 48 scale Spitfire. I've never built a kit that went together so easily and was such an easy kit to build.
Wow.
So if anyone wants to build a 148 scale Spitfire, don't go past that kit. It is brilliant to build.
You say that, but at the same time, you just brought in today an Edward Spitfire boxing.
The Edward, the fuse set, of course. Yeah. Well, the Edward's going to be a lot more fiddly to build, but it's got heaps more detail. It's the only thing that the Tamiya one just, it's a Tamiya kit. It's easy to build, but it doesn't have the detail you'd get with Edward.
Mm.
But it turned out a treat. The only decals I used were the ones with little tiny lettering. Everything else was painted.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a fun little experience, especially doing the wing walks and little red stripes and all that, masking all them up and painting them. But yeah, it came up a treat.
Oh, very good.
And I managed to have it in my possession for 3 days before I gave it to its new owner.
Oh. Was that a commission build or?
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun build.
It was a fun build.
Yeah.
I built it, actually, look, tell you the truth, I built it for the boss.
And you build it really fast too.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks, so that's the quickest I've built an aircraft in God knows how long. And it turned out as one of the best builds I've ever done. It's just come up an absolute
Well, I'm
treat.
glad it went well for you. I know you've done quite a few commission builds these days by now, but I think a lot of people are sort of I don't. A lot of people don't necessarily get into commission builds just because they don't want to end up building something that's gonna drag them down or something they're not enthusiastic about.
Well, this was basically the reason I did it. It was a love job because when the boss found out that I built models, he likes collecting things. My boss, for some reason, he's one of these collectors, mad collectors, and you showed him a few photos and bought a few kits, and he was just over the moon. And just every day, every weekend, I'd come back on a Monday. And, would you work on this weekend? Rah, rah, rah. And since he seemed really keen about it, he's a really good bloke. I thought, and he likes the Spitfires. He likes it in the Rolls Royce Merlin engine. So I thought, I'll build you a Spitfire. And a couple of weeks after that, handed it over to him. He was completely wrapped, and then surprise, surprise, he buys me a new desk chair. So
well, there you go.
It worked out well. I got this really nice new desk chair for modelling, and
I'm glad he bought that for you instead of just paying you.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting anything. He just out of the blue, he goes, that box is for you, and I've gone, what is it? And he goes, open it up, and I've gone, sweet, thanks, mate.
Let's have a quick look at some of our listener mail.
Yes.
And first of all, I've got some listener mail from somebody I've never heard before. He says that he's Colin Martin and he's a personal attorney of a late client who died in a car accident with an unidentified family relative, and they're contacting me as possible and next of kin to deposit $6 million into my account. So,
hey,
I think
this is a weird email. Why is it all aligned to the right-hand side?
I don't know, because someone in Nigeria really doesn't know how to use a computer properly.
Or maybe it's some way of getting around the spam filter.
Yeah,
could be.
Epic Forger 12345 writes in, and he has done a
Grant, is it, or a Lee?
A couple of episodes ago, we were talking about mini art interior kits, and he's just finished his Lee tank. It's a great kit. And a lot of fun, although he thought the tracks were overly complicated. So
I love the markings he's used. The early war markings with the red dot and the American star. To me, that looks really cool.
Yeah,
he's done a great job on that.
Yeah, so
well done.
Thanks for sending those pictures in. It's really cool. John Allen wrote in and he says, I'm looking ahead to his next project, a 148 scale Cessna 172 by Minicraft. But he's wanting to replicate the Cessna 172 he actually trained in and received his pilot's license. And he wants to know if there's anyone out there who does custom decals from photos that you can replicate the aircraft with.
Ooh.
So I don't know.
I don't know of any custom decal makers, no. But usually with Cessnas and that, it's just a matter of masking and usually painting your own stripes on. And
especially in that scale, in 148 scale, they could do that quite easily, I think.
And when it comes to I'm gathering he's from the States, is he? Or
no, I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter where he's from, but the actual radio code, you should be able to either scrounge it from your decal collection or maybe even use some Letraset.
And I should mention also, John's one of our proud Patreon supporters, so thank you very much for that, John. And as I said, John, perhaps what Ian suggested, look at doing it with Letraset or painting yourself.
Painting, yeah. Your stripes are usually easily airbrushed.
Yeah.
It's just So they're usually straight lines, so you just got to just make sure you're thin enough gaps. You don't make your paint lines too wide, and away you go.
Eric Kavina writes in, G'day Benchers, my name is Eric Kavina. I am a member of the stash of modelers here in the Commonwealth of Virginia and Julian Jules member number 38962.
There you go. Jeez, you got a lot of members there, Julian.
No. See, I'm not affiliated with any of these,
I've never had any interest in podcasts, but when my friend TJ and a couple of his buddies put together the Plastic Posse podcast, I tuned in to support him. Within minutes, I was hooked and started listening to On the Bench that same day from episode 1. Oh, you poor thing.
No,
That's
not
the worst.
episode 1. No, the episode that does not get mentioned.
I've been putting off writing this because I don't want to raise any old conversations from the dead. But when I got to episode 89, the subject about I'd never build, I just couldn't resist any longer. I've had the very good fortune to be a member of IPMS Northern Virginia. The club is quite large and very active, well, in normal years anyway. Each year we've had an activity called Build the Same Subject. Early in the year, the club selects a couple of subjects, and this year it was an X-Wing fighter and a Tiger tank, and works with local hobby shops to get a number of those kits of the subjects through to the local hobby shops at reduced pricing using the club funds. Mm-hmm. They are usually half a dozen or more copies of each and at least 2 different boxings on each subject, different manufacturers or different scales or whatever. On a first-come, first basis, members buy the kits from the club at the reduced price. If the member completes the kit and brings it to the December club meeting, their purchase price is refunded so that they pay only for the glue and paint and, of course, the friendly photo etch or other aftermarkets that they choose to add. If they don't finish it, they still get a kit at a good price. Personally, I'll build anything once, but I know not everybody is adventurous in their modelling, so I think this is a great way of encouraging club members to branch out and try subjects or genre that they might otherwise avoid. I encourage other clubs to adopt this practice. Well, back to the Academy Tiger that I have spent most of the year procrastinating on. Rubber band tracks, here I come.
Ugh.
Thanks for what you do for the hobby. Keep up the good work. That's Eric or John or whatever. Why is he saying Eric or John? Anyway, he's got a couple of footnotes here. First of all, Dave, my name is pronounced Curvina. There you go. And if you're worried about mangling it, you can just say my name is John Smith. Footnote number 2. It is a little-known fact that Julian's Jules member numbers are non-sequential and assigned at random. That way, when we inevitably rise up and throw down our IPMS overlords and install Julian as supreme lead modeler for life, they won't know how many of us they are and will be powerless to resist. Footnote number 3.
If I ever go to the States to attend any modelling events, I'm going to have to bring a taser or something to keep these nutters at length.
No, that's good. I can see Julian arrive at the Nationals, at the Nats, and there'll be a chair there, and there'll be about 6 bare-chested men sort of carrying him around on this chair on their shoulders.
You can stop this right now. Even if it's just stop giving them ideas. Don't encourage them.
Footnote number 3. Being originally from Wisconsin, I nearly resigned my membership in the Jules when Julian tried to give our cheese credit to Vermont.
I don't know. I saw that in a movie. I don't know anything about this bloody cheese.
But instead I chose to channel my rage into working towards the Jules' glorious future. Well, there you go. That was
a great email.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Nevin Servac. I'm assuming it's how I say your name. Victor. Oh, why you guys confuse me with all these different names? Hi, guys. I've been listening to your show now for a year and really enjoyed the episode on tools. I don't know if you're ever planning to have an episode about modelling tricks that you've learned along the way, but I have one that I would like to share with you and your listeners. I started my modelling back in the early 80s, and 2 books were instrumental in my early modelling days. One, of course, was Shepard Payne's 1980 book, How to Build Dioramas.
The Bible.
And the other one was Betty Edwards' art book titled Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain.
Oh, I remember that book from years ago, yeah.
It's so popular that it is now in its 4th edition. Anyway, my biggest takeaway from that book was when you are copying a picture, turn the picture upside down, then copy the picture upside down. The idea is that you're triggering the artistic right side of the brain that deals with spatial relationships and less on whether or not something looks right. Apparently, flipping things upside down tricks you into seeing the parts, not the whole.
Correct.
And I found this extremely useful with camouflage pattern placement, decal placement, and trying to reproduce Shepard Payne's weathering effects. Some people can see spatial relationships without flipping it upside down, but for the rest of us, it's a useful hack. Cheers, Victor.
It is a very handy hack.
What a great idea.
I've heard people use that for copying, for forging signatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then rather than trying to like copy your J to look like someone else's J,
And you have a lot of experience in this?
No, I just apparently this is something I read about.
Wow.
Also, like I've seen a lot of like digital artists, and when they're drawing, because it's digital, they can just hit like a hotkey, and it flips it along the horizontal axis.
All right, so it flips the other way around.
Yeah, so it mirror images it, right? And as such, they can sort of just tap a button and repeatedly flip it backwards, left and right, so that they can sort of like change their perspective. You know how like sometimes with a model you might sort of leave it, walk away, get a coffee, come back and go, have a sort of a readjusting of your perspective.
Have an epiphany.
No, not even that. It's just sort of like you've been sort of, tunnel visioning into this model for a while, and you walk away and you come back with a refreshed perspective, and you're like, oh yeah, I think I need to tone back that weathering or something like that.
Yep.
It's similar to that, but obviously we don't have the luxury of doing things in a digital format. So
yeah, another one I found handy. Take a digital photo.
That shows up all the flaws.
And bang, and then you just put it up, and you'll notice things you don't see with a human eye.
Yeah.
It'll just pop up. So and then you look at the kit, and you sometimes I even struggle to see the kit even when I'm looking at the monitor at the same time and go, it's there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't it funny, like how your models look so clean until you put them in? When you see them through a photo and you suddenly realize, it's covered in dust. What the?
Yeah, exactly. Where'd that hair come from?
Jeez.
All right, how about we have a quick word from Fine Scale Modeller, and we're back to talk about our subject, modelling versus collecting. Back very shortly. Fine Scale Modeller is the world's most recognised and essential magazine for modellers, and is available in all good newsagents and newsstands, or wherever you purchase your magazines. Alternatively, go to their website, www.finescale.com, and subscribe to either a print edition or their digital edition. Go now. Go to www.finescale.com. Okay, and we're back now to have a chat about model building versus model collecting. Jeez, this is going to be a contentious sort of subject we talk about.
Oh yeah.
So I was talking to Robert Madden, who we've had on the podcast before.
Oh yeah, I know Robert,
and he reckons that he's become more of the collecting type because the way he put it is he now buys kits that he knows he will never build.
Really?
How many people do you reckon, as modelers, buy a kit while already knowing that they'll never build it?
Geez, not too many.
Not too many. Look, I've got a lot of kits in excess of 200.
Yeah.
I plan to. I know I'll never live long enough. My intention is to build them all.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't buy them.
Yeah, exactly. So if like the pearly gates opened and the big man upstairs said, "Here you go, Ian. Here's another 100 years for which you can use to finish all your kits," you would take that. And you would be
thanks,
like,
brother.
I will definitely try to build all my kits.
Yeah. Or some scientists can come up with a way of cloning, or not cloning, or adding some certain jellyfish DNA to my body that I could live forever. Yeah, great.
Well, you become like the $6 million man. You got all these bionic heart.
No. Just some jellyfish DNA so I can live. Because some of those jellyfish, they reckon, will live forever.
It's really easy to use this to go off on a tangent.
Oh yeah,
that's not good.
Well, Sean, who originally put forward the idea that we talk about this, He says that there's something called the Sable Line.
All right.
The Sable Line being an acronym for Stash Acquisition Beyond Life Expectancy.
Yes.
So have you reached your Sable Line?
Reached it. Reached. I can't look far back enough to see the line, Dave. I crossed the line, burnt the bridge, nuked the area behind me, and I'm still striding forwards. As I mentioned to you and Julian, 2 days ago, I went out to buy noodles for dinner. Came back with the new Meng Fokker DR1. I wasn't planning on buying it.
Yeah.
But it was there. I had the cash in my pocket and went, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's another one to add to the collection.
Do you ever buy a kit and sort of have a rough idea in your head of like how far down the build queue it's going to be?
Yes.
And then go like sometimes you'll buy it and you'll be like, this one goes right to the front. I'm building this now.
Yeah, well, I've done that a few times. Bought kits and built it straight away.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think the last one was me.
Oh, it's a Mia Spitfire.
No, I had that in the stash for a little while.
Oh, had you?
No,
Okay.
the last one I built was I bought and built straight away. I think it might have been the Waffenträger.
Yeah. I
The
remember
Dragon
that one,
Waffenträger.
Ah.
But I'll tell you one, the next one on the line pretty much might be one of my newest acquisitions, and that's the
The British Scamel.
the Scamel,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
the Scamel recovery vehicle.
I'll put that on the other side of the studio just in case you forget it when you go
I
home.
won't forget it. But the big choice is what I'm going to do with the Scamel.
Yeah.
Am I going to build it military, or am I going to go full on Mad Max with it?
Full on Mad Max. Come on.
It is such a cool looking vehicle. I think it may have to be turned into a Mad Max machine.
No, but see, like what I would suggest for you then is perhaps maybe use a good Thunder Models kit to make an accurate one. And if you wanted to make a Mad Max one, you can always go grab the IBG one, which is probably cheaper.
Oh, BG makes one as well, do they?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was like, it's not as accurate.
Yep.
But you don't need it to be accurate if you're going Mad Max.
No, that's right, yeah.
And it's probably cheaper because like Thunder Models is considered maybe a bit premium.
It is a good kit,
Yeah, exactly.
and I have spent a fair bit of aftermarket on it already.
How much was this kit, by the way?
Oh, I can't remember.
So getting back to the actual subject, gents.
Sure.
I never started in the hobby with the intention of having a stash. The reason I have a stash is because of FOMO, fear of missing out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's why.
That's a very real fear.
And that's why I purchase particular kits, because there's kits that I wish that I did have that are rare as hen's teeth now, and it'll cost me an arm and a leg if I can ever find them.
Julie and I were discussing that last night.
Yeah.
The Hasegawa 1/350 scale seaplane tender.
Yeah,
Yeah, Akitsushima.
yeah.
By the way, I found out that kit is actually a multimedia kit.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I've seen one in the flesh.
Right? And you could only buy it in Japan directly from Hasegawa.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh my
And
god.
there's one on eBay in Australia for sale for $600.
Listeners, this is like trying to herd cats with you two in the studio.
And just think, he was so excited to have us
but I mean-
both back in.
No, look, we haven't strayed that far yet, all right?
Well,
Look,
you're talking
this
about
is
your
a-
Arashima 1/350 scale.
Yeah, but no, what we're talking about, that's considered like an actual unobtainium level
Yeah.
kit. Right? It was limited edition to begin with.
Yeah.
Right? So
Years-
from the get-go, it was already costing more than people would ever consider. Like, it's probably in the same realm as, like, when it came out, as that, what's that, that bomber you almost bought? That huge one?
Oh, the P-36. Oh, the B-36.
B36,
Yeah.
yeah.
B-36.
Peacemaker.
The Peacemaker in 148 scale that I was really tempted on buying until I realised that, it's probably bigger than my Landstream.
And then you have to consider that particular ship kit came out at a time probably before the internet, right?
Yep.
So it's not like you would even know. Like you would have like you would have seen one in a photo in a magazine and gone, "Oh, that's cool. Can I get that?" Oh no, it was limited edition, and I wasn't even aware that it existed at the time that it was available.
And yet there will be numerous copies of that sitting in people's stashes because they're collectors, or are they builders?
It's all right. Hopefully, there's collectors.
See how I wound us back on the track?
Yeah. Well, hopefully the collectors among us, right,
die, and we can buy up their stashes.
Yeah, but that usually what happens is when the collectors die, is the spouse usually goes, well, all this plastic stuff's going in the skip.
No!
A lot of old kits like that, they end up as landfill, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean that's the same with a lot of things. You know, like the people who collect cars, like actual cars, and they've got like warehouses full of muscle cars and things like that, and then one day it all just sort of rots away over the years, and
until someone does an amazing barn find and goes, oh, look what I just found.
You often look at like, oh, they made 300 of these, and then you go, well, how many of those 300 just rotted away into nothing or got crashed or whatever it is, and
except for, as you said, the collectors, they'll collect and put them in there.
But you know what? I don't think there's really much difference between a collector and a builder. And here's why. Because when you build, apart from Julian, you don't normally chuck them out, do you? You put them on a shelf somewhere to be looked at and admired. So technically you're collecting there as well, aren't you? So
yeah, but you're actually getting some use out of it. You're not just leaving a kit in a box in a cupboard where you can see it alone, because no one else can be bothered. Well, your family members are not going to walk in and go, "Oh, look at your collection of models." They're going to go, "Yeah, a lot of wasted money there, mate." Whereas when you're building it, you're getting some use out of that box, and then people will look. Average person's going to get a lot more enjoyment out of seeing a built model than a box.
Also, I want to touch on the important fact that if you're a collector, you're not a modeler.
No.
You can be a modeler and a collector.
Yeah.
But if you're strictly a collector, you're not a modeler.
No, that's right.
Because you're not building them anymore.
You're not getting any use out. You're buying a kit, you're putting it in the cupboard. No one else is going to get any enjoyment out of that kit. To me, look, and I'm probably going to cop a lot of flack over this, but a lot of these collectors are just freaking, they're selfish.
What?
We're all selfish.
They're selfish. Well, that kit can be, if they're never going to get any use out of that kit, why keep it?
Well, hang on. That's like saying stamp collectors are selfish too, because they're never licking the stamp and using it in postage.
That's right, they are.
Look, so I'm saying that people who collect coins are the same because they're never spending it.
Yeah.
We can only do things. We can only take control of our own actions. So however many kits there are out there that belong to other people are of no concern to us.
Yeah.
Right? There's no sense even
unless
thinking
they've
about
got
it.
a kit that's really hard to get and they've got it in their collection and you want it.
Yeah, but there are, like, linking back to the car thing, that's the same thing as, like, that guy who's got, like, the classic muscle car sitting on his front lawn rusting away. And every time someone turns up to buy it, I'll give you $50,000. No. He refuses. He'd much let it sit out the front there and rust into dust.
I know exactly what you mean. Actually, funny you should say that. This week, one of the guys at work sold his pretty much brand new motorcycle to a guy who's going to hang it in his lounge room.
So what? A motorcycle?
Yeah.
What type?
I'm not a motorbike man, but it's one of those ones with all the fairings and all sorts of goodies.
He's just going to hang it.
Guy's just going to hang it on his wall.
You know, there's a school amongst people who have an appreciation for cars that if you don't drive the car, it's like its soul is suffering because it's meant to be driven, right? It's meant to be driven, but no one really associates that with model kits because they're only made out of plastic, right? But when you think about it, it's like if you don't build the kit, right? Do you have any real respect for the kit at all?
Yeah.
Oh. That's an interesting sort of perspective.
See, they're being selfish.
Yeah, look, we're all selfish. There's no point in saying they're being selfish. We're all selfish. I build the molds because I'm selfish, and I throw them away just as fast because I'm selfish.
Or throwing a model away after you built it, that hurts.
I'd rather give it away.
I'd rather
give it to someone than throw it.
And yet the funny thing is, I'm castigating Julian for throwing away his completed models. Yeah, I'll think nothing of chucking a model into the well of tears if it ain't going well, and don't even look back or think twice.
Yep.
And yet I'm castigating you for throwing them away after you complete them. What's going on there?
Well, here's the thing, right? So sometimes when you give your models away, they're appreciated less than you for having thrown it away, right? They take it and they're like,
I'll take it because you're giving it to me, but I don't really care, and I'll probably throw it away too when I've got no space for it.
Well, they give it to their 5-year-old kid or destroy it.
Yeah, exactly. There's those sort of situations, right?
Hey, at least
and then you kind of
get some fun out of it.
Yeah.
And then you kind of think, well, maybe I should have kept that so I could throw it away myself. At least I would have thrown it away for my satisfaction rather than yours.
Gee, I don't know.
Anyway, back onto the fact that collectors are not really modelers.
Yes.
Right? So this is the way I sort of put it is like if you take, say, someone who has an appreciation for Ming vases.
Yeah.
Right? Are you to sort of like draw a parallel, right? Imagine because remember, the models have to be built to be models.
Yes.
Right? So
hang on.
The equivalent of like a collector for models who just collects the kits and doesn't actually build the models, or doesn't even collect finished models, just collects the kits. That's like someone who collects the broken bits of Ming vases and then says, "No, I collect Ming vases." No, you don't collect Ming vases. You collect pieces of broken pottery.
We're getting into some really esoteric sort of stuff here, because when is a model a model? Is it a model while it's still in the box, or does it become a model once you start undoing it and building it?
Well, think about it.
It becomes a model. I think it becomes a model once you take the wrapping and you take it out of the box.
What is it prior to that?
Then it's just the bunch of components in a cardboard box.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, think about it. Like Jay Leno is...
It will build you a model. At the moment, in a box, when it's wrapped up, it's a bunch of components that once you open the box, take it out, then it becomes a model. Then you can start... Once you're actually physically working on it, then it's a model.
Even if it's bad, even if it's a terrible looking model, it's not glued together properly, it's still a model. But if it's in parts, it's not a model.
But it's a model in the box.
No.
Yes.
Think about it. Jay Leno's known for collecting cars,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But if he didn't have any of those cars finished in one piece, he's just a guy who collects car parts.
Yeah. He'd be like,
He's no different from a wrecker.
There's always that one person in town who's got like 1 million freaking car bodies in their yard.
They're not
and they consider themselves a collector. No, you've got a whole heap of rusting out rust buckets cluttering up your yard and making your neighbourhood look bad.
But when you buy a model kit in a box, you are buying a model kit. It's just not assembled yet. So it's still a model in its form in the box.
Well, if you say so, but to me, it's just a bunch of components until I open the box and start on it. Then,
let's draw a more accurate sort of comparison here. So you know how like the real planes came in crates,
yes,
especially with the US. You know, they had their Wildcats and things like that would come in like these great big crates, and you would have to put the wings.
Yep, same with Jeeps. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, well, maybe not Jeeps because the wheels just went on and that was there.
No, Jeeps were crated up.
Yeah, but crate up, you only really had to put the wheels on.
So there wasn't that much assembly involved, right?
Yep.
So, in the same way, if you've got a museum full of all these planes, but they're still in crates, essentially you just got a museum of like wooden boxes with planes that are supposed to be in them. Is that really a museum?
No.
Yes.
It's a museum of crates.
No, but it's what it holds and represents.
But you don't see
it's potential.
Maybe it's a museum, but it's not an aircraft museum. It's a museum of crates.
Well, no, because inside those crates is the potential of what's in there.
Yeah, but
you don't see
you're
it.
still not.
It doesn't matter whether you see it or not. There's still the potential.
If you went to an aircraft museum and it was called like the I don't know, like the Mildura Air Museum.
Yeah.
And you rocked up there and all you see is a bunch of crates. Would you return from that go, oh, that was a great museum. It was a great air museum.
Yeah, but
or would you say, I went to a crate museum that calls itself an aircraft museum?
Yeah, but I'm still, if any museum worth its salt would still be able to open the crate up so you get a look inside.
Yeah, but most collectors...
He just hit the nail on the head.
Most collectors will freak out if you even touch the plastic wrapping.
Well,
it's got to be kept in the plastic wrapping.
Nah.
Yes, that's true collectors. If you take the wrapping off it, you may as well throw the kit out.
Okay, like the dudes collect all the Star Wars figures and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, once out of the box, it's worthless.
Because it reduces the value. Yeah, I get that.
And to me, that's... The
Selfish.
things were... Like those Star Wars... Look, honestly,
to me,
honestly, those Star Wars figures were made for kids to play with.
Originally,
they were not originally made for people to collect and
100%.
leave in the boxes.
100%.
So you just think with all these people with these thousands of dollars worth of Star Wars figures and so forth, and all those hundreds of poor little wide-eyed children that are now missing out on having fun playing with their Obi-Wan Kenobis and their Darth Vaders because these selfish people decided, no, I'm a grown man of 50 years old and I have to have every single Star Wars figure that was ever built in their box, shoved in a cupboard where no one can see them except for me.
But what's wrong with that? Because that's giving that particular individual joy.
Look, exactly.
Selfish joy.
We've already established that they're being selfish. We're all being selfish, all right? They're fine. Like, I've got no problem with collectors.
Yeah.
But I have a problem with collectors calling themselves modelers. Right? Because they're not. They're collectors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? If you choose not to build it, that's your choice and be happy with it. I've got no problem with that. But don't say you're a modeler because you're not building a model. You're not modeling anything.
Yes. I'm with you with that 100%. How many collectors are out there that don't model, you think? I don't reckon there's a lot.
I don't think there'd be that many.
No, I don't think
There's probably not that many because, like, even the ones who build rarely still build. They just build very rarely, right? But at some point, like, if this, you'll probably end up that way without even realizing it. And you still think, well, I still have the maybe willingness to build a model. I just haven't done so. I was like, well, that means you're a collector. You're not a modeler. You're still buying stuff? Yes. You're not building anything? No. Well, you're a collector, not a modeler.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I mean, like... Poor Dave. He really didn't expect this, did you, Dave?
Well, I didn't expect there was some passion in this discussion.
It's a decent subject to talk about.
To be fair, I mean, we have a modelling podcast here, so we tend to be more active as modelers. We're probably in like the top 5% of all. If you include all the modelers and collectors, right? We're probably in the top 5% of like people who've actually finished models.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't say top 5%, but...
Oh, don't get me wrong. There are people who like build way more models than us.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But you got to think about how many people out there buy a whole bunch of stuff and never like really finish much. Maybe they'll finish like 3 builds a year.
At least they're still building.
Yeah. But there's a big difference between them and, someone like Ian here who, knocks one out in like 2 weeks.
Hey, Mike, have you seen how many I've built this year?
You've done really well.
I've been really cracking on.
You've done really well.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
You think about...
I've done about 13 models this year.
If you went a ship-built modeler, you would probably have a lot more models on your shelf.
Oh, for sure. Shipbuilding just really slows you right down.
Yeah.
That demands that
that's
you do it
long
slowly.
term. Yeah, that's a long-term build.
Yeah. And that's why I look at my, I can see we've got the cupboard door open there in the studio. I can see some models sitting up there in the stash, and they're all ship models. And I know that there's at least a year and I can see 3 ship models, and there's at least 3 or 1.5 years building sitting there just in those 3 kits.
Yep.
Part of the reason I've got a little bit of an interest in ships lately is because I do want to get something finished and I can put it on your shelf.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh. Well, if you're going to throw models my way after you built them, well, yeah, that's fine. I'm quite happy to accept that. And you'll know that I'd be much more appreciative than perhaps other people you give your models to.
Yeah, that's true. Not to mention I'm over here fairly frequently.
You are?
Well,
you are?
As long as, we're not in lockdown or anything.
No.
I'm over here fairly frequently. I can go over there and peruse my work anytime I want.
That's good. Yeah, that's a way of looking at it as well. Yeah. Yeah. So collectors versus modelers.
Yeah, I know. It's a very... I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are technically in the collector category, and they still hanging on to hope that, oh no, I'm still a modeler.
See, what I don't
time
get...
to be real.
When I see pictures of a stash and someone has bought 5 of exactly the same kit and put it in there, I sort of struggle with the understanding of that. Like 5...
Look at Ian.
Oh, look at Ian. He's, do you one of those, are you? Like
you know how many P40s I have?
Yeah, no, but you build them, though.
Yeah, but there's still a lot.
But, like you see something and I'll buy, so, for example, I'll use the example. I've got the Ryefield T35 that I'm building at the moment. Mm-hmm. So I'll just buy the one and build it. And yet somebody you look in their stash and they'll have 5 of exactly the same sort of kit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that.
Because they've probably got 5 different variants they're going to build of that kit. Or 5 different paint schemes.
They're willing to build, but aren't actually going to build.
Aspirational desires to build that many.
Yeah.
See,
so the worst thing for me that ever happened for me that got my collection so huge was finding out you could buy aftermarket decals.
Yeah.
That totally changed everything for me back in the day. Because before then it was like, oh yeah, you bought a model kit, yeah, you had maybe 2 or 3 choices of paint scheme. So if you wanted both of them, well, you just got 2 kits of the same one and then build either paint scheme. Then someone showed me you can buy aftermarket decals, and some of these have got like 12 up to 40 different schemes. It's like, well, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one. Oh, damn, now I've got to buy kits to suit them all.
Yeah.
Thus my P40 collection.
So
and my
I never really think about
grew.
At most, I think maybe I would build one of those other ones if I was going to do another one. I would hang on to these decals and build that one down the line.
Well, Julian did Julian actually is to blame for one of my purchases. Julian showed me these really nice P47 Razorback decals, and I bought one. Remember that one I got with the really nice slick chick nose art.
Yep.
Well, I didn't have the kit for to buy the kit for the decals. Well, there's another kit to add to me stash. Because I really love that paint scheme and I want to build that plane because I reckon it looks stunning.
Here's like, you know how like you were saying that like the collectors are quite selfish because they hang on to these things and they sort of just they take them out of circulation and no one can build them.
No one can get the enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. What about collectors that are willing to sell their stuff to you?
Go for it. Sell it to me. I'll buy it.
Like, for example, if I had expressed an interest in building a P40 and I said, hey, Ian, would you sell me one of your P40 kits? Would you?
Or will you?
The difference is I have the intention of building them.
Right.
So that puts me out of the ballpark of just being a collector. If I was not building...
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
If I was not building as just purely a selfish collector, I'll keep saying that, and I know people are going to really write in and give me a hard time, but I don't care. That's my personal thought, people. It depends on the person. If they're willing to get rid, well, say, yeah, look, if you can't get that kit, I'm never going to build it. It's sitting in my cupboard doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, I'll sell it to you. But that's just the person I am. There's other people out there that would go, no, it's mine. I'm not parting with it. I'll never build it, but it's mine. You don't have it. I'd rather burn it than give it away.
See, on the flip side, I struggle with the idea of seeing old kits such as Matchbox kits in 1/76 scale, and then people building them. To me, that's borderline heresy. Them doing that, unboxing, a bit of history and then putting it together. Go, ugh, it just makes your skin crawl.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I'd consider buying, like, if it was cheap enough, like $15 or something, I'd buy that.
You're never going to find a $15 Matchbox kit. Let me tell you that now.
I know of a guy who bought a first edition Airfix 1/72 scale Supermarine Spitfire on eBay.
Yeah.
For 4-figure sum.
Yeah.
Never to be built.
Seriously.
Just so you could have it.
Wow.
It's like, but to me that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, but for that individual, that means something to that individual.
Yeah.
So it's a case of
and imagine what a crappy kit that would be too.
But you might have been building. You might have been buying it for nostalgia.
If I came across like that kit or a Matchbox kit at like a garage sale that no one knew the value of, and I knew it was worth,
Oh, you'd snap it up and sell it.
No, I'd get rid of it.
Yeah, I'd
buy it and I'd melt it down.
Melt it down? Why would you melt it down?
Because they deserve to be taken out of circulation. The sooner we get past these old crappy kits, the sooner we get newer kits.
Hey, but look, seriously, if some muppet wants to offer you an X amount of money for a bit of plastic, look, say you bought one of these.
Maybe $4,000 is quite a big sum of money, and I would take that.
Yeah. Right. Even if someone offered you, like you spent $20 maybe, or not. Actually, if you're buying it at a as you said, a deceased or whatever it was, and you pick it up for $5, and someone offers you $50 for it, you're going to go, yeah, there you go. Bang.
No, not even $50. If it was just $50, and I'd rather melt it down.
Really? No, I'd take the 50.
Look, this is something I feel quite strongly about. There is and most people don't really think about this, but every bad kit out there on the market is preventing a new company from coming in and taking that place.
Oh, no. I strongly disagree with that. I think for every bad kid out there is presenting an opportunity for a new company to come in and take their place.
Yeah, actually.
No, because a lot of the time, the bad kit, as bad as it is, occupies a space, right? And people will rather deal with the old crappy kit than spend a tiny bit more and go for the newer, much better kit.
No, I think
how many times has someone brought out a new kit?
Yeah.
And then you look at all the Facebook and rather comments and stuff, and they're like, oh, I've got the old monogram one of that, and it should do just fine. It's like, you're mad. you'd rather build a 30-year-old kit instead of a modern one that's infinitely more detailed, and all it costs you is like an extra $20 more.
Well, here's a good example: the SR71 Blackbird. Mm-hmm. There's got that old crappy kit that's been floating around for donkey's years, and now there's a new one coming out.
If it was discontinued, right, I guarantee you there'd be a new one on the market to replace it by someone else, and they'd do a better job of it. Look at, I've got a perfect example for you. We were just talking about that Hasegawa seaplane tender.
Yes.
Right? There's a new one coming out from a new company. I forgot what the name of the company is, but there's a new one coming out. It's also resin, right? And like I said, like the old Hasegawa one is on the eBay for $600, and then the one that's replacing it from a new company will be like $400 to $500. So you're not saving that much more money. It's still incredibly expensive, but at least you'll be able to get it if you want it.
True.
Right? And there's a chance it'll be better engineered because it's newer.
Very true.
Right?
Yeah.
So every time one of those old kits lingers around, at least with the Hasegawa one, you had no chance of getting it. So perfect example of something where, we can just replace it with a new one. But every kit that Airfix brings out, right, all of those are going to be crappier than if they were made by someone else. So I would much rather Airfix not make those subjects so that some other company like Eduard or miscellaneous Eastern European company can come out with a better one.
I think that if a company sees a gap in the market or something that they can do better than that, they will.
Yeah, but only if they think it will sell. Remember, we're talking about,
Yeah.
they're all businesses. They've got to make a living.
Yep.
They've got to actually make these things sell. Right? And like, for example, Eduard, as big a company as they are and a successful company as they are, they probably had to consider very carefully whether they're going to bring out a new Spitfire or Mustang. I mean, maybe not Mustang, because Mustangs and Spitfires are pretty common, but the Wildcat is a bit more risky, right? And because apparently they're working on a new Wildcat.
Eduard's doing a F4F.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's supposedly in the pipeline.
Ooh. Hopefully after the P40B.
Yeah, because and that's the thing, right? Like, there's a quite acceptable kit from Tamiya. You'd have to think.
I built one. It's a beautiful kit to build.
Yeah. Apparently, it's a little bit fatter than the real thing.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
But it
looks like a Wildcat to me.
But you'd have to be pretty sure that you could turn a good profit before you'd bother, attempting to compete with a Tamiya kit, right?
Yeah.
That's like messing with the bull.
Exactly.
But if Tamiya hadn't, say Tamiya's Wildcat was properly crap, right? Even so, you would still have to treat carefully because you're trying to displace an existing kit rather than going into a kit that's like a subject that's not touched yet.
Yeah.
So every time one of those bad kits is on the market, it actively prevents that kit being covered in a better way by someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Like Mac 2 kits, they should never be around.
I shudder to think about the emails we're going to get in about this particular one, but we'll wait and see what happens between now and our next episode.
I'm not talking about because for example, Special Hobby, they cover a lot of really rare subjects.
Yep.
Right. No one's worried about.
Kits are a challenge to build.
Yeah, they're a challenge to build, but that's not a very good example. I'm talking about like your Revel, your especially Italieri. Right, they have a lot of kits in their catalog, a lot of kits that aren't covered by other people. And no one wants to build those kits unless they absolutely have to. But if Italieri went bankrupt tomorrow, all the other manufacturers would be like, finally, we can cover all these subjects without fear. And we can do a much better job of it. And modelers around the world would rejoice. They're like, finally, we can make a this or a that, or like for example, I've got another great example. So Atelieri make the Crusader in 1/35th scale.
Yes.
Right? That's the only one available.
Yes, correct.
And yet, like people would much rather build in the wrong scale in 1/48 scale Tamir's 48 scale Crusader. Because it's that much better a kit, even if it's not in the scale that they really want to build it in, just because the Atelieri one is so crap. And yet that kit exists and actively blocks other companies from doing that subject.
Well,
you started it.
Well, I did start it.
We've gone off topic, but
We have gone off topic.
when else am I going to bring this subject up, right?
I guess. Oh, goodness. All right. I think we'll wrap it up there. Before we head off and before I get you guys to sign off, don't forget to listen to our other shows. So the Scale Model podcast out of Canada.
Yep.
Our sister podcasters.
Or brother.
Brothers. We're all
Yeah, brother
brothers.
podcast.
Sorry, well, not the podcasters, like sister podcast, right?
No, we're in a brotherhood.
Oh, whatever you want to call it then.
And while
I
we're
give
on the
up.
brotherhood, don't forget also the Banjo Pickers out of Kentucky.
Plastic Posse podcast.
No, the Plastic Mojo.
Mojo, that's the one, yes.
Plastic Model Mojo.
Yes.
Banjo Pickers, whiskey sipping hayseeds.
Great bunch of blokes.
And of course, we got the Plastic Posse podcast.
That's the one, yeah.
When the cowboys come riding into town. Yeehaw!
Yep.
Oh, God.
I'm promoting it.
Maybe there will be a day when you're not so cringy, Dave, but that's not today.
Ian, let's have a sign off from you.
Photo Etch is your friend.
Julian.
I've had 2 coffees.
He's fully wired up, as you can tell, folks.
Yeah. I'll probably go another one before the day's out, at least.
Oh, I'll have to give you one to send you off home. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back in a fortnight. See you later.